What's up, YouTube? ODST General back again, and, I gotta say, the Operation Trebuchet is a glorious group of people, but you guys are making it damn hard to upload this video. I have recorded this, I think this is the third or fourth time now, because every time I go to release this video, you guys release something new, be it the devs, or the community members, it's a new group, or it's, a new model, something keeps getting released, or I keep finding new stuff, and it's getting ridiculous, guys. I gotta get this video out to you. So let's start from the top here. Let's start with the devs. We've got a uplink that came out on the 20th here. We're actually on the 21st, so this came out yesterday. I did record this video as soon as this came out, but like I said, things kept coming out after that point. So, let's start at the top of that. This was posted by Scorch052. Introduction. Hello all, today we're going to be taking a look, I always say talking at that point, at some of the new assets we've gotten in game so far. Some of the simple but important features of said assets, and a very exciting peek at a new air vehicle that may or may not be named after one of those mean-ass flying insects. User activity. There's too many of them. We've now broken 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to everyone who subscribed, shared, and submitted content to the subreddit. So the subreddit's currently sitting at 1,012 subscribers. That brings us on to the next one. Believe. Morthon's Scorpion King has made impressive progress on his Halo 3 Marine model that he initially showed a few weeks ago. He says it's nearing completion and will soon be ready to put in the game. So, let's look at this. I will talk about this more later here after we're done talking about the dev update and stuff, because actually this is one of the things that got updated. Halo 3 Marine Armor is my favorite, personally speaking. Looking at this, it looks like it'll come in a few different pieces with the underbody suit, the helmet, and then the armor, similar to the way the Operation Trebuchet armor comes out. There's not a whole lot of reflection on this armor and stuff like that, but I do believe that's something that will be addressed soon, although I'm not sure about that. Other than that, though, the model is a really high quality model, and it's very awesome looking stuff, and I can't wait to actually get my hands on it in game and play with it myself. But we're gonna keep moving on here. I just wanted to show off all those pictures real quick here, and we're gonna keep going because, like I said, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit later here. That brings us to the dev activity. Momentum. HK Urban has been hard at work implementing and testing a variety of new structures, objects, and interactive items. So, looking at this, we've got the shipping yard. We got a lot of crates and stuff. We've got another vehicle in the back that has not been talked about before, and that will be talked about in just a moment here, too. We've got a lot of vanilla armor buildings here in this warehouse district. But something in the back left-hand corner caught my eye by the shipping crates. There appears to be, tall white structures there that look like they might be cranes or something. It's kind of hard to tell. They do appear untextured, though, from this distance at least. And it's kind of hard to tell with the UNSG structures because they're all kind of white and stuff, but that's very, very white. So I'm thinking that might be a new structure that's untextured that's been placed back there. I know the devs like to do that. They'll have a lot of small structures, and they won't cover the structures themselves. We've spotted structures in these pictures months before the devs actually reveal the structure's existence. So maybe that's what that is, some sort of scaffolding or crane or something like that. But we'll see here, I guess, either when we get the map or when they release images of that. Getting back into it, though, he's also published a video showcasing the physics and other interactive properties of some of those assets. Now, guys, I'll probably forget this. I will try to remember to link this video either at the bottom or in the video. But basically, just HK Urban driving around in a Warthog just crashing into stuff and knocking it over. But it's a fun video to watch, and it shows you just how many assets have been added to Operation Trebuchet, or will be added to it. Forky. So you might have noticed an interesting bright yellow vehicle in the last image that we haven't said much about. Well, the Dog 88 has modeled and textured the S2 Traxxas cargo transporter, aka the forklift, and it has been successfully implemented in-game. Well, we haven't worked out actually, sorry guys, I don't know why I'm just having all these issues talking here, like last week. well, we haven't worked out actually picking things up and moving them. You can lift the forks. So it is animated. The forks do work, like they said. This is a very good model. I mean, if I really think this model displays how far some of the devs have come from their initial work on, Operation Trebuchet, a year ago or however long it's been, 2 years at this point. I'm not even sure. Some of them have been with the project, for quite a while. But it's a really awesome forklift. It's a very cool addition. Like I said, even if it's not going to be something used heavily in combat, it adds flavor to the environment and it adds a Halo feel, where there might not otherwise be one. But we're going to keep going here. Hornet's Nest. That's right, Hornet's Nest, if you guys hadn't guessed that from the initial introduction. One vehicle we've seen requested a lot, not quite as much as Scorpion, but quite a lot, is the Hornet. Well, thanks to the Dog 88, you'll be seeing it in-game soon. Well, it's unlikely it'll be fully functional in time for 0.14 release. You can expect to see it real soon. So we've got a number of different variants. We've got a tiger striped any variant, and then we've got the standard UNSC variants. We got the Arctic, the olive, a kind of blackish gray one, and like a light gray one. Once again, a very, very high quality model. There seems to be some sort of clipping or strapping here so that you can ride on the side. So that does appear to be a function that it will have, thankfully. Although being Arma, the characters will presumably sit. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I mean, that clip is there. It is designed for them to stand on it and then like unclip and jump off. So we'll find out how that's going to work, I guess, at a later point. But a very, very cool model. Looks like the interior is fully done, so it's nice to see that is being added in. It'll be nice to have a more attack-oriented, close support ground vehicle that's more appropriate for cast than, say, the Pelican or the Falcon. Yes, we are getting the longsword, but that is a very large vehicle. It's a very fast vehicle, and I think the Hornet will be better in the cast role than that will be. But we gotta keep going here, guys, because like I said, we've got a lot to cover. Sense of scale. Our steady progress on adding new assets has been made possible, in part by a longtime member of the Halo community, Stephen Loftus, aka Sound Effect. He's been a prominent influence as far back as the Halo CE days on HBO. Many of you may be familiar with his work in determining the scale of various ships, planetoids, vehicles, weapons, and other things in the Halo universe. So he's the guy who makes all those black and white charts. If you've ever looked at Halo images online and you see those black and white charts, and it's like, this is the size of the Pillar Autumn versus, the side of like Truth and Reconciliation or the Halo Ring and stuff. That's his work. He also collaborated with 343i to create the Halo Essential Visual Guide. Thanks to his generosity, we've been able to get excellent reference images of items so that we may bring them into Arma Engine with the highest fidelity possible. The Dog 88's Field Bunk is just one example. We offer our sincerest thanks to him and other members of our community who have helped us bring the Halo universe to life in Arma. So yeah, him and Theranet both deserve a shout out because, they bring a lot of reference images and stuff like that would be otherwise difficult to get or painstaking to get, for these devs, and take a lot of time from actually like modeling and stuff. Actually, Theranet's helped me out just recently getting me some reference images for a model I'm working on. So, big shout out to those guys for sure. As for the bunk itself, though, it's a very awesome bunk. It looks like it'll come in 3 different flavors. It probably won't be animated just because of how how it looks and works. So we'll probably have a closed version, a single bunk, and then a bunk bed type style, 2 bunks stacked on top of each other. Moving on, though, it's the little things. Speaking of community contributions, one of the new items we've added, the crate scene here, that's, once again, the picture we already touched on, was based on a model donated by System of a Downey. So he was trying to work for the mod. Unfortunately, it seems he's been unable to finish. He was unfortunately unable to finish the model, but we were able to clean it up, bake it, UV, and texture it, and bring it into Arma. It may not seem like that big a deal, but you will probably change your tune when it is the only thing standing between you and a hail of insurrectionist gunfire. Still, this model is a testament to any aspiring artists in the community that our doors are open if you have the skill or patience to learn. You too can get your work in-game. And like I said, I've been working on my own models here. The devs have been very patient and very willing to help me. And that's something the devs can't stress enough. They are always looking for new talent. If you guys are, modelers or, can do configs, stuff like that, music, whatever, hit the devs up if you're interested in trying to contribute. Even if it's only a little bit, only 1 or 2 items, that's still 1 or 2 items that we didn't have before, right? Going on. Green and very, very mean. Big Wolk has made significant progress on the HEV modules, adding new features and rewriting the same system from the ground up. Complemented with new sounds by McChaffee, we were going to show you this video for the first time on this uplink, but someone decided to be extra attentive and share it early. Either way, here it is in all its glory. Once again, because it is a video, I won't be showing it here. I will try to remember to link it. I will also possibly be doing a video of my own on it, just because it is a pretty extensive system. There's a fair amount to cover for it. But I'll look into that later, because I know there's also some setup stuff people have been asking about a video for, and I might want to do that for them too, and just do that as part of the video showing that off. Which brings us to the conclusion of the uplink. Well, hope you lot are excited, because release is right around the corner. The current plan is to release sometime before Apex, then push a hotfix if necessary after Apex drops. However, deadlines are overrated and real life's a bitch, so don't go marking your calendars just yet. See you next time. So guys, I would like to get hyped up for the release. Obviously, we've been put off time and time again. And it's understandable reasons, and like they said, real life has to take precedence with this sort of thing, and it's one of those things that prevents, releases and stuff, unfortunately. And we've been waiting since January, so, actually December, depending on how you look at it, but, we've been put off a few times here, so just be patient here. We'll see how things go. Obviously, there's a ton of work going into the mod, and this really highlights it. The big thing is the city, and they want to make sure everything is going to work with Apex. Now that it's on Dev Branch, they can test out some of the new stuff that they're worried about possibly breaking. So that brings us to a number of other items here to cover. So let's try and stay on topic of the devs first, and then we'll move into more community-oriented stuff like questions and new groups and stuff like that. Big Wolk has released his HEV testing script and stuff, so that module I was talking about that I'll show off myself at a later time has actually been released to the public for testing. Now keep in mind this has bugs. This is the whole point of downloading this, if you go on the Reddit, is to test the bugs, is to find issues with it. I've already found a couple myself, but I want to further test them here just because I only played with it a little bit last night real late before I went to bed, and I don't know if I can recreate some of those issues or not. But that includes the Dropbox link, and his YouTube link is also there showing that off. And he also posts the information that he'll be looking for in regards to the mission. It also includes, if you have the dev build, and if you are one of those lucky few who got that from the Bourbon Warfare, it also includes a couple other things, including, like HUD changes and stuff. That module's included in there. So let's go on to, let's actually talk about the armor and creation stuff, and then we'll start moving into the other non-related stuff. So I've got a couple things here. The biggest one is that Halo 3 armor has actually gotten put in game, like literally right after I recorded my video and recorded the audio. I went and refreshed the Optray Reddit and saw the post saying the guys got it in game. So we've got a whole bunch of screenshots here covering this. And I don't know what order I have this in, so let me look at my thing here that I got this in somewhere. Okay. So the first one shows a group of Marines just running around in the virtual box. We've got so you can see the helmet's removable. He's got the field cap on. Other than that, he's got pretty much the basic stuff. Although, somebody did notice, an astute person paying attention, is that everybody's hands seem to be the same color. It's kind of hard to tell because of the lighting. It could just be the lighting's playing tricks with it, but We've got this black squad leader in front. Looks like he's got white hands. They're pretty similar shade to the guy behind him. And, for that guy on the right, the second black guy on the right, he's got very white hands. So nobody's hands seem to match up. I think it's kind of unusual, though, because I know the guy who made this left the hands open to modeling and stuff. And it looks like some of the guys in the back have the correct coloring hands. So maybe it's just a trick of the lighting or something, but it's hard to say. Because as we go on through these images here, we'll move on to the next one because we talked about this too long. The hands look like they're much more matched up. We've gotten this image, more shots of the virtual box here of the Marines. A little bit up closer looks, profiles of the helmets and stuff. So it's very cool stuff. It looks really good in Arma. There's a lot of people who are kind of worried about it. In this image here, this is kind of an interesting one. This is something that never got kind of sneak peeked at, is we've got a short sleeve version of the armor, in which it just kind of is a long sleeve, or, short sleeved rubber undersuits there, but it doesn't have any of the camouflage or anything. It just cuts off at the rubber undersuit, and there's no armor on the shoulders. So, in this version, we got the guy running, just a lot of stuff. You can see that the skin matches up a lot better there. And so it does kind of look like lighting, it's just the hands look off for some reason. And that could just be an Arma thing, but somebody pointed it out, now I can't unsee it. Seeing these guys in Woodlands, though, it's perfect. It really makes them blend in this environment he picked out for those photos. So you got the green trees on top, and you got the browning grass on the bottom. And it's just perfect environment. I don't know if he looked for that for a while or not, but, we see these guys, handling the Halo weapons from Optray already. There is some tearing from shadows and stuff, though, that you'll notice. It looks like the shadowing of the model's totally gooped up. It's probably inverted or something like that. I know that's kind of what happened with my first model when I imported it, but his is also much, much, much more advanced than mine. So it could be something else altogether. There isn't a whole lot more to say about this. Just enjoy the pictures, guys, because this is some really awesome stuff. I'm very excited about this. And I dare say it's higher quality than the armor we currently have in game. Not to say that's bad by any means, but there's some glitches and bugs with that's not been fixed yet. And because the guy who originally did that armor is gone, it's not likely to get fixed soon. But that's not all. There's more. We've got more modeling stuff, so I guess I'll cover my own stuff next. Like I said, I had a little bit to talk about here. I've got two models I'm currently working on. The first is the Type 14 anti-tank mine. That is the bomb from Assault. I've got that textured and ready to go, and I've gotten it in-game, but I'm having issues with the configs. I can't get that sorted out or figured out, so I had a dev team member helping me. He's working on an AT mine of his own, so he's going to give me the config script so I can get this in working as an AT mine as opposed to a structure. And then I'm also working on a spotter scope, which once it's completed here, this is very basic. I've actually made a lot of progress, but I'm thinking I might wipe some of that. But once I get it completed, it'll hopefully be, two versions. One that's a handheld, operating version, and one that's just like a static object for, looks. Then we've got this mysterious picture, and the guy who posted this didn't say anything about the image, and he took it down. He took down the post, so you can't find this image. But this appears to be the Mark 5B helmet from Halo Reach. So this appears to be a Spartan helmet on the bodies of a couple of insurrectionist soldiers. So it's kind of questionable since there's two guys wearing it. I don't know if this is supposed to be, a replacement or what he's got going on. You can see some stuff bouncing around in the background, so I'm thinking this is like a testing mode. But he's got the infrared stuff on too, so you can't see the coloring of the helmet. Definitely an interesting thing here. I'm wondering what's going to come of this, if anything. Like I said, the guy didn't say anything. It's not a community member I'm familiar with right offhand. And, like I said, his posts are gone, so nobody can really ask him, any more questions. If he didn't memorize his name like I unfortunately didn't, nobody's going to be able to push him for further information on that. But, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. So, that's not all. That's right, there's more. So we've got, that HEV module also showed off a database, and the database is incomplete, but basically it's got information on the developers, the vehicles of the mod, the weapons of the mod, stuff like that. And one thing caught my eye, and this may be a bug, but now that I've got my own hands on it, I've actually had a chance to look at it, is that there's 2 of the shotgun and 2 of the M6G pistol. Now, with the shotgun, it just appears to be a duplicate posting, but I don't think that's accidental now that I looked at the pistol. Even though the shotguns appear to be the same, the pistols actually appear to be different. You've got one with the SmartLink scope and the flashlight, I do believe, or the laser designator. But then you've also got a stripped down version of the M6G, so I'm wondering if we'll maybe be getting another M6 variant, or if this will be a different story for it. The UEG version for the CAA, the kind of base version that a lot of the other people use. Since the CAA will get, the stripped down UNSC weapons, then that's so nice stuff that the UNSC uses. But there's still more. That's right. So like I said, I was screwing around with the module and I found something. You know what? Actually, I can't cover that yet. I forgot about the other stuff. I want to cover this video last year, guys. Just so you know, there is video footage incoming, but we'll do this last, and I forgot about this other stuff I had on my second screen. So we had a couple of questions, and we got a couple new communities and stuff that's changed around. So the first question was, somebody stumbled across a dev branch update that says they've added support for multiple vision modes for goggles. Now, I don't know if that means night vision goggles, or if that means, like, the glasses you put on your character's face. But what that does mean is that, if it does mean night vision goggles, one of the limitations of Arma basically was when it came out, is that you could only have night vision goggles. You couldn't change the goggles to have multiple modes or different modes. So you couldn't have, goggles that made everything like infrared and stuff. So this gentleman has asked the devs if we can get a new visor mode, like a legitimate visor mode with, the lines and everything that outline the enemies. The devs have said they will look into possibly changing the visor mode to make it more accurate to what we've got in game. However, it is not likely we will see a legitimate visor mode just because of the difficulty in bringing out such a system. So there will not likely be any outlines of the enemies or anything like that, but they will look into bringing out something new, if viable, to kind of bring it in more in line with a classic visor mode from ODST. ZZ Guy 1 also saw a dev branch update that has added in vehicle loading support. Now, I haven't been on the dev branch for a minute here. I checked it out a little bit when Tanoa first came out, but this has come out after I changed back to my main version. Now, on this, he asks if we're getting the vanilla loading system instead of the custom one we have now. So I do believe this system allows you to load one vehicle onto another. The Pelican obviously has the capability to load a Warthog on there. It's supposed to magnetize, but due to some braking and stuff like that, you have to sling it. The devs have said they will be switching over from the custom one to the vanilla one down the line. It's not going to happen quite yet, but it will happen. So that is confirmed 100%. We will be changing from the custom loading system to a vanilla one at some point, but it will probably be 0.15 or 0.16, depending on how things go. I know that they want to go back and touch up the Pelican and do a lot of changes to that. In 0.15, fix the interior and stuff with that after this 0.14 is out. So that's probably when we'll see that changed. Now we got the community stuff to talk about. So the first one we've got is the 2nd Shock Troopers Battalion. Now, Apex, from my understanding, has rolled up with these guys. I don't know if that means they're sharing a server or if that means they are completely combined with the 2nd Shock Trooper Battalion. This is a completely new unit, so I can't imagine that they would have just completely folded into it, but that sort of thing does happen from time to time. So basically, they are a milsim group. They don't have any sort of age limit, but they do expect a certain level of maturity. And those who play with them are expected to join on certain days, I think. Or am I getting this confused with the other group? I'm thinking I'm getting it confused with the other group. But they have 3 positions available: ODST, Special Operations Aviator, and Corpsman. Corpsman is actually what it would be called, not Corpsman. That wouldn't be good. You wouldn't want to be attended to by a guy named the Corpsman. I'm the Corpsman. Come to collect your body. No. So yeah, you can be a medic, pilot, or an ODST. At any rate, I'm not seeing any times, so I think I did get that confused with the other server. Now, I would recommend following these guys on the Reddit. They've changed their TeamSpeak since they put up their post. And, I don't know if they have a working server yet, so you would have to contact them through there in order to find that out. That brings us to our second group, the Spartan 2 Project. This one's posted by Director Halsey. This one, to be honest, I'm sorry if you're watching this, Halsey. The spelling's kind of poor, some of the posting doesn't make any sense. But I like the concept of it. It's, instead of being as big a group as we can get as many people in this unit as we can, which is kind of what drew me to Optre. I kind of like the idea of actually seeing how these small unit tactics would work. I'd love to see how Spartans would work in Operation Trebuchet in a realistic environment. And that's kind of the idea behind this, is that instead of going out with, 15 to 20 guys in a really widespread operation with a lot of enemies and a lot of casualties, you're playing in groups of 4 or 5 where, your objective is to, be as tight a group as possible, to work together as close to, together as possible, and to have, a few casualties. And I think that allows you to basically go in and, really concentrate on what you're creating for a mission. Like, even a Zeus mission, if you have few enough people, you can make a Zeus mission feel really unique and good. There's a lot of things like fire support and stuff like that that don't get used in Zeus missions with these larger groups, because the Zeus is so busy trying to get, enemies and stuff in, and trying to, ferry supplies and stuff to these guys, that he doesn't have time to keep up with these smaller details. Now, a smaller group like this, you could have a lot of fun as Zeus, or, a triggered scripted mission would be really cool. This one does have a minimum age requirement of 13 years of age. You are also required to attend operations and training nights. Like I said, I got them confused. So operations nights are on Sunday at 2100 Eastern Standard Time, and training nights are at 2100 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. And their thing is, they say real life comes first. However, there's no point in joining the team if you cannot make these events regularly. So you aren't required to attend every single one, but you are expected to attend the majority of them. There is no TeamSpeak or server information for them here. It just advises you contact Director Halsey via Gmail. And that's about it. But the information he wants is on the Reddit. Once again, check out the Reddit for that. And regarding, clans, units, whatever you want to call them here, the server information is not correct on the side of the on the sidebar of the Reddit. It got taken down. The devs are working on re-updating it, making sure that information is up to date. So the servers and stuff like that aren't necessarily going to be accurate. A lot of the clans and units that were up there, even if they're still operating or if they're defunct, are no longer on there. So just be aware of that when you're going on to the Reddit. You can't look at the sidebar for these units. You will have to scroll through the comments to find them. For right now, at least, the devs are working on updating the sidebar to have the accurate server information. So I think that covers the vast majority of it. I think the only other thing the devs really wanted to know was if people were going to be purchasing to know and that stuff. And to be honest, I know most people will probably end up getting that are hardcore armor players, just because, it's a big DLC and it's a huge deal for the community. But we got one last video to show here, and that is, some video here. So, like I said, I don't want to make this too long. This update's already going on half an hour, and that's a lot of time for an update. Just because, like I said, every time I had a small update. I was going to do a video when the uplink came out, and the uplink made it a lot bigger, and that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger from there. So, I don't think we got any new items or anything that I haven't seen. Like I said, there's some new modules and stuff, but I don't think I have access to that from here in Zeus. you know, I got the testing modules from before for the drop mod and stuff like that installed. We did get a couple of fire supports though. So we've got 2 fire supports to my knowledge. The first is a max strike. That's right, a max strike. Now, to be honest, devs, I know you watch my videos. I think this is a little bit lackluster. I don't know if this is something that can be changed. The round's pretty devastating. I know they don't necessarily use a very big round for a max strike, but if possible, I know Halo Wars kind of does this because it's an RTS and you have to be able to follow this stuff. I would love to see a real big Mac round. Obviously, oh my gosh, I dropped that real far away from myself and that killed me. So obviously it's a very devastating round. I mean, it just doesn't look devastating. It's very effective, don't get me wrong. It will level something. If you want something dead, you drop a Mac round on it and it will dead whatever you want it to dead. But, yeah, it doesn't look like it. Like, looking at that, saying, okay, that's a Mac round, I guess. Yeah, that's neat. You know, I just don't know any other rounds where I can be standing here, and the round hits, like, over here, and it kills me that far away. It doesn't look like it's that dangerous, too, so that might be something the devs need to work on. You guys need to change. Obviously, it's still work in progress. It looks like it's using the cast stuff as a method of, you know, of like having the area of effect. It does show a forward strike thing going on. It says this is the area of effect, but I think it's much more dangerous than that. I don't know if it's a matter of shrapnel or something that's going on, but yeah, definitely make it a little bit bigger. Maybe make it a little bit more accurate, just what the actual range on that is. And then we've also got some new cast stuff. So cast was already in. We've got our Pelicans, but now we've also got the Longsword, which for whatever reason is using a fighter jet logo, but that's okay. So we've got close air support, and then we've got a cannon variant. And I don't know what the difference is between these other than, you know, one might be for like vehicles and stuff and will shoot the rockets and missiles at the vehicles, and one might just shoot its cannons only. I don't have any guys here. Let me actually try to play some guys down real quick. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get fast enough. But you can see that's utterly devastating. So the first one with the actual cast looks a lot worse. Kind of low and slow for him a little bit, but that looks really cool seeing the 2 fly off in the distance like that. Yeah, it looks like it did a lot more damage here. You see a lot bigger crater impacts. You know, this got little craters here from the cannons and some bigger ones here from the initial strike. So let's actually set up some guys here. I don't want them sitting next to me and shooting at me because they're too close. So let's see what happens if we set up some anti-air teams. Now I'm getting too long, and I get to have a little too much fun with this when I set these things up, because I start to play with them and I get distracted from the fact that I'm making a video in the first place. So let's just test these out though for the sake of actually testing though.
Roger. Coordinates received. CAS is inbound. Out.
So here's our first one coming in. So it killed 4 guys. I mean, it's not too bad. The second one, which was just cannons, actually killed 5. So I mean, it's kind of random a little bit. I mean, there's definitely not perfect, but it also depends on where you're dropping. I mean, I kind of dropped it outside the groups a little bit. So now we get to test out the final one, then we can end this video finally, guys, and you guys can go back to your day. We're gonna drop a Mac on these guys. So, you know, I don't know how this Mac works, because obviously I didn't drop it right next to me. It killed me. It killed those 4 guys pretty instantly, but nobody else around him died, so I don't know, unless I dropped a second one or something. All these guys are also laying down, so they might be dodging the shrapnel or something too.
Copy. away. Roger.
So, one last try. Now, see, it's not killing these guys here, but it just leveled the structure across the street. So, devs, I mean, I'm sure that you obviously are working on this. It looks like the mac's just a bomb that's dropping from really high, but you need to kind of figure out what's going on with the the shrapnel or the damage here, where it's leveling buildings across the street, but not killing guys. You know, just on the same side, out of cover, standing up, their flesh and blood, stuff like that. Other than that, guys, that is the video. I don't have anything else to show you for right now. Like I said, there's a couple new things that are out. I will probably do a video on them later. But, yeah, for the time being, I don't have anything else. So you guys take it easy, and I will see you around.